one of the things was at first, when you first created the two sites, how did you acquire your first 100 members? It started with friends and family. They're going to be there to support you. They're probably not going to be there for the long haul. I mean, it's up, after all, like your thing, but they're going to support you. And they can give you some preliminary feedback. But once we got that early feedback, probably the first, 20, 30 people joining and saying, oh, this is cool. Do you have blah, blah, does it do this? Do you have chat? Not, that is a common feature that people ask for. Then we started looking at bloggers in diabetes. So I've always found that is whenever I talk to someone about starting a network, it's like identify who those key opinion leaders in your area are. And at Blog World Expo last year, I learned that there is a niche blogging cadre for just about anything. And there was like a track for travel agent bloggers. I mean, there's like really, it gets really specific. So I think it's a matter of identifying who those are and engaging them, join the network, see what you have, tell me what you think about it. At the time, there weren't that many niche social networks. It was actually the first diabetes social network there was. It wasn't the first online community, but really the first forum with all the other goods that go along with it that was focused on diabetes. So it was not too hard of a pitch, if you may, to bloggers. I imagine, depending on how long the person may have been blogging, they may be the kind that gets bombarded with press releases, or the kind that's like flattered that you're reaching out to them. So you got to take that into account. And if you're writing to someone who's like the #1 blogger in the field, you probably want to be mindful of that and not go with just boilerplate press releases or anything like that, but be very personal and be very relevant to them and offer them something that shows them that you give a hoot about who they are and what they're writing about and that you know about their publication. So that first leap went probably from 20 to 200 relatively quick because of those bloggers, Amy Tenderedge, Scott Johnson. So 3 or 4, like, there weren't that many at the time. Now thousands, but they all came on board and wrote about it and gave their own view. One of them called it "It's like MySpace on insulin" was his tagline. I was like, can I use that? That's kind of cool. So I think that'll go a long way. Obviously, I think you have to have something that is meeting a need. The more of the same that you're doing something about, maybe you can do it really, really well, but you have to find a way to differentiate yourself. So if you're like the 20th film social network or something, it may be more challenging to hit that sweet spot and get them to react and write something about you. But if you're doing something really unique or offering some content or the ability to connect with people that are in no other network about film, then you probably are onto something. So the viral components in the network started playing a role. I mean, like, we kept asking people, including the link, invite your friends, people who may benefit from participating in the network. It was, after all, relatively, people got the benefit pretty quickly. I mean, we had originally pre-populated some conversations to have something other than an empty space for people to get to at first, but then people started, answering those and starting their own discussions, posting their own videos and so on. So that would be another element. You have to do some, preloading of content, and that may be whether your own, discussion blogs or not. And in the case of videos, there's a ton of content for just about everything out there. So like curating that, has a value. It becomes a bit of a space where you can get like some relevant content for that audience.